Welcome back to my channel and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen and this is Jen Clayton Beauty. We do everything beauty and makeup, and that includes testing out new eyeshadow palettes. You know, eyeshadow palettes are my all-time favorite makeup. Well, really, eyeshadow palettes and highlighter. Love, love, love. I can never have enough. And of course, one of my favorite indie brands released a new palette that is unique to that indie brand and something that when I saw, I immediately said, I need it. And that is the Adept Cosmetics Flying Fiddles palette. First of all, this packaging is absolutely beautiful. It is lace packaging, and then it has the gold Flying Fiddles name here right on the front. I will go ahead and insert close-ups of the outside of the palette, the color story inside. The palette does include a mirror, so it's great for travel, or if you use a mirror in your eyeshadow palette to get ready. This is a really nice high-quality mirror, and this is a neutral palette for Adept. Now, they came out with their La Cienega palette last year, which was a neutral palette, but that one was more mattes than shimmers. Now, this palette is more shimmers than mattes. We actually do have 4 mattes, a couple of purple tone mattes, a blue matte, which I think is really fun, and then a neutral brown matte. But where this palette really shines is the shimmer shades. There are multi-chromes, there are duochromes, and this shade right in the middle called Scorpion Grass, that is a blue, an orange, a green. That shade is so beautiful. We're of course going to use that. And then we have just some beautiful neutral mattes and a couple of pops of color. There are some really beautiful mattes and shimmers in this palette. Everything swatched absolutely beautifully. The mattes were buttery soft, opaque. The shimmers absolutely stunning and beautiful, so I cannot wait to put this palette on my eyes. Now, this palette is currently sold out, but they are doing a pre-order, which will ship towards the end of February. So if you're interested, grab it. I don't know if they'll bring it back again once it sells out. And you can use the code Heather to get 10% off. That's the code that I used when I purchased the Flying Fiddles palette. So if you're excited to see a tutorial, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn your bell on, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. Down in the description box, I will link the Flying Fiddles palette with the discount information. Everything will be there for you, as well as my favorite beauty subscriptions, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing in today's video, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and come follow me on TikTok for more beauty and makeup. So let me zoom you on in and let's create a look with this beautiful Adept Flying Fiddles palette. So as always, the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot and Painterly. I always use an eyeshadow primer. This one is my absolute go-to. I get asked a lot if I set my eyeshadow primer. I do not. I just put it on with a flat brush and then I just tap it in with my finger just to make sure that there is no creasing before I start applying shadow. Eyes are primed and ready to go, and let's dig into the Flying Fiddles palette. I think I'm going to use this shade Tan Toffee Rose, which is one of the lighter mattes. There's really only the one light matte. The rest are mid-tone deep mattes. So I'm going to pick that up on a fluffy brush. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to focus this on the inner portion of my crease. I'm going to stop about halfway over so that I can bring in a different matte. I really want to try out a lot of the mattes in the palette. So again, just buffing that into my crease halfway over. I'm also going to go a little bit above my crease because I do have slightly hooded eyes. That way when my eyes are open, you'll be able to see this pretty shade. As you can see, I'm also pulling that onto my lid just a little bit. That's really pretty. It's a purple based mauve. I really like that. And I'm going to go into this beautiful purple maroon matte called Daylily on a fluffy brush, tapping that off. And that's going to go on my outer corner. And I'm also going to pull that up into my crease and blending that in with that first shade. I really like this. It's much more of a plummy purple than I thought in the pan. I thought it was going to be a little bit more maroon leaning, but it's definitely more of that deep dark plum purple, but I really love that. And that's going on really, really nicely. Purples can be really hard. They can be patchy, and this one is not patchy at all. And then I'm going to just kind of drag that over across my lid as well. And then going back into that shade, that first shade, Tan Toffee Rose, I'm going to use that to just blend and buff those edges so that those two shades are seamlessly mixed. Boy, are those two mattes absolutely stunning. I'm going to apply some of my NYX glitter glue to my lids, and I cannot wait to play with these gorgeous shimmers. As always, we're going to apply one shimmer with my finger, one shimmer with the brush, so we can test out different application methods. And I immediately am drawn to that blue-brown shade called Blue Crown. That is so pretty. It has a little bit of a deeper, darker base to it. So I'm going to put that on the outer 2/3 of my lid. Whoa. Okay, Adept. I also love that this has a bit of a purple undertone because it pairs beautifully with those mattes. Look how beautiful that is. That blue, purple, brown shift, stunning. We have to use this middle shade Scorpion Grass, which has that green, orange, and blue, that shade swatched so beautifully. Just a really interesting multi-chrome. And I'm going to put that on the inner portion of my lid. That's really nice. I really get the green and the gold in that. I don't see a lot of the blue, just maybe a tiny bit in the undertone, but that is so pretty and it looks really nice next to the blue-brown shade. And that applied really nicely with the brush. So as always, the Adept shimmers are great with the finger or brush, whatever your preferred application method is. For my lower lash line, I'm going to use the blue teal shade called Green Kelly, and I'm picking that up on a flatter brush. I am going to tap that off and buff that on my lower lash line. And that's going to help bring in the blue from the shimmer shade on our lid. I really like that. It is definitely a tealy blue, and look how beautiful that is with that shimmer shade. And then I'm going to pick up this green that shifts from blue. This shade here called Pom Pom Button, that's a green that shifts kind of to a blue with a black base. So beautiful, going to buff that on the lower lash line as well. And I'm actually going to flick that out a little bit, kind of like I'm drawing in a wing with my shadow. I want to be able to see that even with some liner. And for my inner corner highlight, I think I'm going to use this shade called Arisma. There's so many great options for an inner corner highlight, which I very much appreciate. Going to go ahead and pop that right on the inner corner. And this is a little bit of a taupey shimmer. Would be beautiful all over the lid if you wanted to go with a little bit more neutral look. You could utilize that brown matte in the palette. That's actually the only matte we didn't use, and that shade would be beautiful paired with that. There is the completed look. Let me go ahead and do liner and mascara, and I'll be back to share my final thoughts on the Adept Flying Fiddles palette. So here's the completed look with the Adept Cosmetics Flying Fiddles palette. First of all, like I said, I love the packaging. I like this shape of palette too. They sometimes do the longer, skinnier palettes, and then they've been doing a few of these more rectangle shaped palettes. So I really, really like that. Nice, high quality packaging, and the color story is absolutely beautiful. I love that it's neutral with a twist. And I always say, I love a neutral palette if there's a twist, and Adept definitely gave that to us, especially with some of these really beautiful shimmer shades, especially this Scorpion Grass in the middle. It's so pretty on the eyes. Everything is just so sparkly and beautiful. The mattes performed exceptionally. This is the only one I didn't use, which is the brown matte, but the purple ones are the ones I was most concerned about because, like I said, they can be patchy and they performed absolutely beautifully. The mattes, the shimmers, everything is a 10 out of a 10, and I'm really happy to have this in my collection. It's definitely a unique, more neutral color story for Adept, but like I said, it has a twist to it, which is exactly what I would expect from the brand, and everything performed perfectly. So I would highly recommend the palette. I think it's beautiful. And if you want a really good quality indie neutral palette, definitely recommend the Flying Fiddle. So let me know if you picked this up or if my tutorial swayed you to pick this up. I can't wait to play with it more and create a full neutral look. I think that's going to be stunning as well. So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, turn your bell on, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. And again, I'll link the Flying Fiddles palette down below for you, along with that 10% discount, my favorite beauty subscription boxes, discounts to my favorite indie brands, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing today. And don't forget to come follow me over on TikTok for more beauty on a budget. I definitely think this is another big win for Adept Cosmetics.